What's up, guys? It's Pam. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 tropes that I cannot stand. Let's get started. So before I get into dissing all of these tropes, I should probably do the standard disclaimer and tell you that this is just my opinion. Your mileage may vary, and it probably will. So if you disagree with me, this is just a YouTube video. Go live your life. I should also give you guys the disclaimer that this is not about sci-fi and fantasy. So I'm not going to be talking about chosen ones or love triangles or the death of your mentor. That's because I generally do not read sci-fi fantasy books. That's not what I read, and that's not what I write. So I write books about gymnastics, and I understand that it's an incredibly niche market, and it's an incredibly niche audience, incredibly small audience. So it's probably not something that you've read a whole lot of, but I really hope you stay, and I hope that maybe it piques your interest, and maybe you'll be interested in picking up some books that deal with gymnastics and see why I'm always talking about it. So let's get right into it, shall we? I'm going to be counting down from 5 to number 1. Number 5 is the "oh my god, they're missing out on their childhoods" trope. This trope just really gets on my nerves because it's the same sort of thing when you have any person who does one activity a lot. So if you have someone who is a musician and they spend all of their time doing music, or you have someone who is an athlete and they spend all of their time training, there's this mentality that, oh, they're missing out on their childhood, and it completely negates what they're gaining from doing this discipline so much. Like, we wouldn't have virtuoso pianists and principal ballerinas if we didn't have people who did this. Yet we constantly belittle them for not being normal and not going to prom and not valuing the things that we as a society think that they should value. Number 4 is the new girl who always starts at the gym in the first book of the series. So gymnastics books, a lot of the time, are written as part of a series. Nearly all of them have a new girl who starts at the gym in the first book. And it's usually one of 2 things. They move to a new city because A, the new girl is really good and she's coming to train with a really good coach. Or B, the new girl's parents had to move to a new city and the new girl is really pissed about it because she had to leave her gym and all of her friends, and now she's having to start a new gym. So you have one of those 2 scenarios, but it's still the same thing, new girl starting at the gym. And this happens every single time. It's really, I mean, every time I see a gymnastics series, I'm like, okay, I know a few things about this book. And one of them is, it's going to have a new girl starting at the gym. Number 3 is directly related to number 4, and that is the mean girl who hates the new girl because she's afraid that the new girl is going to be better than her. You always have the new girl who comes to the gym, and then you'll always have the girl at the gym who feels threatened by the new girl. And this happens so often that it's ridiculous. It's like every time you know that there's going to be a new girl, you know that someone else at the gym is going to feel threatened and get pissed and be mean to the new girl and try to either sabotage her or just be like really mean to her all the time. It happens every time. I'm so tired of it. I can't. I'm sorry. It happens all the time. Yeah, we need to move on from that. Okay, so number 2, we've got the helicopter parent. And this is the stage parent who you see in gymnastics movies and gymnastics books, where you have the helicopter parent who is just, she's always there and she's always trying to manage her child's career, and she's always trying to make sure that her child gets every single advantage and is on every team so that she can go to the Olympics and win that gold medal, and she's living vicariously through her child, and she's always just like right there, right in your face, oh my God, this is my kid and she's awesome, you know. It's just, it's overdone. It's in every book. There's always like the parent who is pushing their child to the point that their child is like, I'm done. And yeah, it's in a lot of books. It's in a lot of movies too. So before we get to number 1, I'm giving y'all a bonus. And this is the, this has to do with naming of books. So before I sat down to film this video, I actually just took a short survey of the books that I have on my bookcase. And I have 10 books about gymnastics, not counting my own. And I just did a quick little survey of those books. I didn't go online to look on anything else. I just said this is going to be a representative survey of just general books that are out there. And of the books that are on my bookcase, there are 10 books. 2 of them are named Flipside. And that's 20% of the books that I have on my shelf have the same name. 2 of them have the title Balancing Act, and another one has the title Finding Our Balance. So there's this whole trend when you have books about gymnastics to find this like quirky title. I guess they do that. I guess they do that in other genres too. But you know, when you're trying to name your book, you're trying to find something that's quirky and like that stands out and that will make people go, oh yeah, that's really imaginative. Haha, that's like a pun. Yeah, that's cool, you know. But when you're naming all of your books either Flipside or Balancing Act or some derivation of balancing, it's like you're not making your book stand out. You're making your book blend in with all of the other gymnastics fiction that's there. And someone's like, oh yeah, I read this great book called Balancing Act. And then 5 other people are like, oh yeah, I read that book too. And they're all talking about a different book. You know, and it's like, wait a minute. You should name your book something a little more imaginative. Can we get some more imaginative naming in books, please? Really tired of books named Flipside. Thank you, phone notification. I'm really tired of books named Flipside and Balancing Act or some derivation of balancing. Another thing that's really big in gymnastics is some derivation of the word tumbling. Moving on to number 1. This is the eating disorder. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I am in no way saying that eating disorders are not a thing and that eating disorders are not like a horrible thing to have. I get it. Eating disorders are bad. What I'm saying is that in just about every single book that I have read that has gymnastics as a main component, there is a character who gets an eating disorder, tries to hide it, another character comes along, figures out that this character has an eating disorder, and then this character has to go, oh, here, let me fix it for you. Let me help you fix that. This character says, no, I'm fine. And then this character's like, no, you really need to do something. And then this character's like, oh, I just nearly died. Here, let's get help. And it's the same plot every time. And it's the same sequence of events every time. And it's like, can we please just get another plot line maybe, or even change this one up? We've been having the same storyline in books since the 1980s. If I could tell authors one thing, it's we get it, okay? We understand that gymnasts acquire eating disorders at a higher level than the general population. We get it. Can we move on and have a different story? Because we've pounded this into our heads already. We get it. Thanks so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw, I hope you hit that subscribe button and come back and see what I'm doing next week, because I post new videos every Thursday. Toodles!